Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I know it's still challenging times for a lot of people. It's either you're stuck at home because of the coronavirus, or you're stuck somewhere else, or maybe you're back to work. Maybe you're like me in New Zealand. Everything is going back to normal, and you might be struggling because of that. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you're kind to yourself. Today, I wanted to tell my story of losing a baby. And I've been planning to do this episode for a while. I have recorded an audio version of this when I started my podcast, Heal Your Heart After Baby Loss. And it's gotten a lot of feedback, and people were really, really grateful to have that input and told me that they have had some similar experiences and had some experience of guilt. And I I thought, now that I'm taking a lot of the things that I did in my podcast um, as video to Instagram, to Facebook, to YouTube, and not just have the audio available, I'll be recording my story again. And I think it's also interesting because you can tell your story over and over again, and all the time there will be some little changes in the way how you perceive your story, in the way how you perceive your emotions when you tell it. And it's just for me an interesting experience to do that again, and now also to know that I'm seen when I'm doing it. I'm not just heard, I'm seen. And yeah, without further ado, or any temtem, how we would say in Germany, um, around it, I'll just want to tell you what happened. So by now it is 4 years ago, over 4 years ago actually, when I realized that I was pregnant. And I still remember 2015, me and my partner at that time had decided that we wanted to become parents. Um, it felt like the right time, and I think before my head always was telling me that it would not be so good while I'm studying. It would not be so good because of this, of that, financial situation, and so on. And I realized at that time, when I came back from an exchange um, term in the UK, that I am so ready, I'm overdue. Um, and that I did not want to wait longer for the right moment and the right time, and then that there would never be the right time. Um, and I still completely signed that. There is never the right time for anything. So if you want something, do it. Do it. Don't wait for any circumstances to be different or be better. Follow your heart's desire. Um, if you can, and if there is something that is stopping you from it, figure out why and how and what you can change. Yeah, yeah, totally. I totally, looking back, feel that that was the right decision, despite everything that happened, and maybe even because of everything that happened. So, after coming back, I was in London studying at the University of London, and also working as a nanny, basically full time, because the mom that I was working for was a single mom who also had like a almost full time job. I think it was 30 hours. So it was pretty busy and stressful time. And I also loved it because it was just so incredible to have this little human being there with me. She was 11 months when I arrived there, and it's been just so great to see her thriving and growing and feel her love and affection, I'd say. That was also a point that got me. That got me. The love and affection of a little human being. Um, it's interesting for me to look back at that from all the things I know right now, the things I've experienced, but also the things I've learned in my further studies in transformational coaching and about how we humans work. And well, there we were, wanting to become pregnant. So I um, decided to don't take the pill anymore. And yeah, it's been 6 months before I was pregnant. And those 6 months, I had my period once. So we also expected that ovulation is not working. I went to Germany, a gynecologist that are especially there for female health. And you go there regularly in general, like you go there once a year for checkup. So it's not your GP. And well, what I experienced is that I was not worried at that time for my period not to come back. I was like, okay, it is what it is. I'll be so grateful when it happens, but if it takes a little bit longer, that's fine. So I was not worried at that time or stressed out. Doctors told me, because I took the pill contraception for 10 years, more than 10 years, that it could take some time until the hormones balance out again and things like that. So um, I remember that, and actually in September, I we had a friend over, and it was his birthday, and we were meant to drink something. And I remember that I was thinking, all right, let me take a pregnancy test. So I'm not drinking when I'm pregnant. So, well, what came with going off the pill and not having regular period is that I also did not know when I did not get my period that I was pregnant. It was like I could be pregnant all the time, I could not be pregnant all the time, because there was not that sign of, oh, my period is late. It's been 6 months late. No, it's been 3 months late before it came off the 3 months, and then it stayed off again until I figured out that I was pregnant. And well, so I think I did 3 pregnancy tests at that time, and I went out to my partner telling him, like, secretly without our friend knowing, because, well, we just did not want to, like, it was his birthday. Might have been a good present, but we did not want to tell people that soon and that early. And my parents were on holidays at that time, so I did not tell them either. I wanted to tell them personally. And I remember them coming back. It was after they both had birthdays, so their birthdays like 4 weeks apart. 3 weeks apart? Should know that. 3 weeks apart. And so they came back, and we celebrated their birthday like in a small round. And I prepared some little surprise egg, like the yellow plastic things you have in there, with the first ultrasound picture of Simon, who is not called Simon yet. And yeah, so as a present for them that day, we gave them those little eggs, and they unpacked them from a few other boxes and things like that, and unpacked them and had that little picture and opened it. And I remember how excited they were about it, and I mean, how excited we were, how excited they were, and everything was just so, I'd say, dreamlike, so perfect. And I know, like everyone was super happy. We were starting to buy stuff, and it was my um, parents' birthday celebration. They had turned 50, so they had a big celebration later than when we told them. And as we were before the 12-week mark, we did not want to tell people, which I have an opinion about now. Do tell people before, because there is no need to suffer on your own if something happens before. We didn't want to tell anyone before. I never thought about it as, oh, I won't have anyone knowing what's going on with me if something happens. Well, I mean, ironically, we, like, everyone knew um, when Zima was born, and I guess for me it was good to have that support. And it's different for everyone. Like, some people don't want to know, but I think for me it was better. Like, even when I went back to work and to university, that people knew what was happening. Sometimes it was better. Sometimes people said really triggering things that I know I'm talking about a lot in my posts, and I will be talking about it in the podcast too. People can say things that they don't think through, and for me right now where I am, it is okay. I I don't think that people mean harm to me no matter what they say. I love to surround myself with people who get me, and not everyone has the responsibility to get me, and not everyone has the responsibility to make me feel better. And oh, no one has the responsibility to make me feel better, although I love to be around people who understand and who are swimming on my wavelength, and yeah, just get my experiences. Okay, who listened to my first podcast? This is so different right now. It also is already half of the length that I told my story the last time in. But I expected this one to be a little bit longer because I wanted to share a little bit deeper what's going on, what's been going on for me, and how I felt. I will go deeper into all of that. Also, I'm writing a book right now. It's called "I Will Love You Forever." I'm looking here. You can't see that because I have the cover. Oh, you can't see that. I have the cover design. It's on my vision board. "I Will Love You Forever" is also a song, or the name of the song I've written for my son around his first birthday. Or yeah, the, I guess, birth anniversary of him. And so I'll go deeper into that in the book. I just want to mention here that in case you have experienced that, not everything during my pregnancy was sunshine and roses. I was really happy, and I had moments where I was tantrum like, devastated and worried that I haven't made the right decision. And that caused me a lot of grief afterwards. I want to mention that. I want to make a mental note to talk about that in another podcast. And I've been wondering if I have manifested anything by being so worried that I made the right decision, by being so worried that I'm with the right partner. And well, I think me and my partner, we had a lot of arguments during that time. And I think one reason is the hormones that were going crazy. But I've been talking to my didn't help, by the way. I've been talking to my midwife, and she said, "Well, no, it's not that normal." Like sometimes it's nice to hear that things are normal. Um, so it was not everything like super happy, but well, of course, I wanted Simon, and I loved him with all my heart already. I've been like when I worried about it, I was not thinking. Oh, I wish I would not be pregnant. That was definitely not what it was. It was just that I love this baby so much that I was worried that the world I put him in is not as perfect as I want it to be. Yeah. And those thoughts caused a lot of stuff for me afterwards. And it took me a while to find my peace with it. And I don't know. I don't know if I ever mentioned it. I think I've written one post about it. But because I felt so much shame around it too. And then people telling me maybe it was for the best when he died triggered so much in me that needed to be healed that I was like, no, no, no. And I don't want to ever judge what is for the best and what is for the worst and what is good and what is, what is bad. It's all things that happened. And there are just, things that now I lost my train of thought. I think I don't know exactly how I want to express myself here. Um, but it's just like there are things that we didn't decide. We didn't make a choice around that. No matter if we thought a negative thought during our pregnancy or if we only thought positive, we are allowed to grieve and we are allowed to be sad, and we did not make that choice. So there is healing that needs to be happen, and there is self-love and care that needs to be happen, no matter which thoughts we had during our pregnancy. Because if you're suffering right now, if you're grieving, if you're sad, of course you love your baby. It has nothing to do with that one thought of doubt or worry. What else? What else is my story? Well, the rest of the pregnancy, like the 6 months I was pregnant, 26 weeks, there were I want to say again, they were happy. They were not always happy, but we were excited. We were planning. We were looking for things. We were arranging the room. We were buying stuff. And with me, I mean myself, my partner, my parents, and my aunt, and even like some of the extended family. Like everyone was going mental. And Zima was healthy. Every test was fine. I was healthy. Every test was fine. And we had regular tests until the 26th pregnancy week. I just finished up my bachelor thesis. I handed it in. And only, oh, we went to see hospitals. We checked like where I wanted to go to um, to give birth. I wanted to have a natural birth, and there are not so many hospitals that have that. I wanted to have the right support. I wanted people who understand that I'm a little bit woo-woo, and that I like essential oils. And well, I guess I wanted something that matches for me. Not everyone is thinking about that. I know friends. I have a lot of friends who think that I'm crazy for that. If you are not into that, hey, no worries. Um, that was like just my decision and my way of preparing. And also, why I'm saying that, I'm so aware again that if you lost your baby and you have not done all this stuff, you were not buying clothes yet, you were, um, maybe you were even like thinking about, um, should I keep this baby or shouldn't I? And there are some other things that went around that, like worries that you had, worries about the father, worries about your situation. Maybe you're living in an abusive relationship. Maybe, maybe all hell breaks down in your life the whole time, and you were not sure if you want to have children. And then, or you don't know who the father is, or you know who the father is, but he's not with you. And you were thinking about making the decision to not have this baby, or something in between. And you you decided against it. So you decided against not having the baby and for your baby. Or you haven't made a decision yet, and then you lost it. Maybe you miscarried. Um, Maybe you were carrying it longer term and it came as a preemie. Maybe you made some health decisions that even are related to premature birth, or to stillbirth, and maybe you knew while doing that. Maybe you were not aware, and so you're experiencing now guilt and shame, and you're all worried that you're not allowed to grieve and be sad. I want to tell you that you are. You are so allowed to be sad. You're so allowed to grieve. No matter if you lost, no matter in which situation you lost your baby. You are allowed to feel whatever way you feel. And when you're there, man, I just want to hold your mind, tell you that I don't even know what I want to tell you. I'm here for you. And I want to tell you it's okay, no matter what that means for you. It's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay to hurt, even if we don't want it. It's okay to have happy moments. It's okay to have angry moments. It's okay to feel whatever you feel. And I want to invite you to be kind to yourself and take care of yourself. And learn. Take the time to learn to let go of grief. No, we're allowed to grieve. Of guilt, I wanted to say. And shame. Like learn how you can let go of those emotions, but because they don't serve us. And also they're there. Like when they're there, there's nothing wrong with them. So it's nothing to push away like any other emotion. This is so different from the other podcast I did. But I'm feeling it right now. I have so many things to say. So many things. Okay. You are not alone. And it's okay to be where you are and feel what you feel. It's a great chance to learn how to love yourself unconditionally. Great opportunity to learn how to take care of yourself, of your health, physically and mentally. Great opportunity to learn what you need. I feel like it is extremely noisy right now here. I'm feeling right now a lot of compassion for you, although I don't know you, because I feel so much compassion for myself in the past. And I feel so much love for you. And this phone is crazy. So here I am, half an hour in, and not even started talking about the loss. I'm thinking about how I draw the circle. And I think I can just say that when I was 26 weeks pregnant, I went into labor. And I actually did not know what was going on. I was sitting on the sofa on my own. My partner was going to bed. I did have a different rhythm from writing my bachelor thesis, being up all night. And so I was actually just ordering like baby clothes at the moment, like specialized little things with his name on, and specialized individual little things with his name on. And I was experiencing cramps, and I actually felt like I did not connect it with labor pain at all, which is another thing that I felt guilty about, that I did not realize earlier. So I went to the toilet. I thought I had like it's something with my stomach. I actually went there and thought, okay, now it's better. And then I went back and I was sitting there, and well, I went back and forth. I thought like, oh, maybe it's like I got like diarrhea. Um, and I have no idea, honestly, how long it took me to realize that that has something to do with pregnancy and childbirth. I know the moment that I realized, and I was in pain, like I really was in pain. I don't know why I did not realize. Um, the moment when I realized was when I was seeing blood. Like, yep, no, not normal anymore. So I called the ambulance, woke up my partner, called my mom. Don't know if that's the right order. I think I wanted someone to drive me. I think, yeah, I think I wanted my mom to drive me, my partner to stay at home because he needed to go to work next day. No, my mom had off. She said, though, call an ambulance because maybe it's better if you lie down. Maybe they get you into the ER faster when you're coming with an ambulance. And so I called the ambulance and they came, and I know lying in there, like there was this one guy talking to me who wanted to bring me to this one hospital that we had a look at um, just the day before, and or a few days before. And I remember that they told me there that um, they don't accept the woman in labor before 30 weeks because they don't have the neonatal care. Um, and those guys wanted to bring me to that hospital, and I said, like, no, not an option. So I started a discussion with them, which I can't even imagine because I'm usually kind of going along with stuff. Um, but some intuition must have told me that something is wrong now, like something is really wrong. Um, and I wanted to go to the other hospital, which was like, it was not a way longer drive, maybe 5 to 10 minutes longer. So I went there, and I told them that we needed to go to this other hospital, and they tried to argue, or one of those guys tried to argue with me, told me, oh, it's not necessary, the yada 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 you say in English, and until the driver said, oh, well, now let's just go to the other hospital and be safe. And I was so grateful for that driver, and so angry at that other guy, never mind. um, and we drove there, and like a lot of those things that happened afterwards are really, really blurry, like the memories that I have of being in there. I know that my pain was not crazy, like I was not screaming out of pain, and actually the contractions did not came like as often as they were before at home, and I did not take any time, so I didn't really have comparison around it. And it's been my first pregnancy, so I did not even know that that's how labor pain feels. So blurry, blurry, blurry. I'm there in the hospital, obviously alone because my mom and my partner came by car. They followed us. Fortunately, they didn't know where we're going, but fortunately, they kind of caught that we were not going to this other hospital. They kind of have seen us and just followed and kind of made it. Um, And I don't remember really being there on my own, but yeah, I was in a room on my own. There was a doctor. She was like, yeah, doing some things, like taking an ultrasound and giving me an injection so the contraceptions would stop. Um, and it took her a while until she really checked, but eventually it felt like she went in and out there. Felt like I was alone there quite a long time, but eventually she checked my cervix and she's seen that it was wide open. And then I saw like almost panic in her eyes because the birth was already so far progressed that even with those anti-contraception medication, there was no way it could all just close up again. And there was no way that I could just, you know, go home and or stay there in bed rest or whatever. And it was unusual apparently, so they did not expect that, even with the like time frame that I could give them around how long I had that. It was really far progress, really wide open. A lot of women, like in the 40s pregnancy week, are not that wide open. And I went, sorry, when I have those blanks, like where I'm stopping, I have those blanks where I have thoughts about other things that happened at that time. Um, and so they let me sign some stuff. They got my mom and my partner. And I went into an emergency C-section. So um, I can't remember any of this because it was like fully. Now I lost the English word. The German word is Narcose. So I was under. I should have checked that word. Um, I hope you know what I mean. I was completely passed out, sleeping, doing that whole thing. Um, and they cut me pretty wide open because you might know that because you went through the same kind of stuff. But you need to be cut really wide open if it's a preemie because um, in comparison to another baby, like a bigger baby, a fully developed baby, they can just pull out because it's fully built. It's like completely, it can go through you, it can be pushed out and not break. But for preemies, it's really, it's different because they're not so fully developed and all their organs, their whole body can suffer trauma when you would just pull them out. So that's just things that I learned afterwards. And so yeah, the next thing I somehow remember, not completely, is waking up in the hospital in another room. There was no incubator next to me or anything, so I did not know what happened. So I was just asking. My parents were around me when I woke up. My partner was around me, and they told me that Simon is fine. He is strong, well built for his age, and yeah, so he was in the neonatal care station in an incubator, and I went there as soon as I could, like with a wheelchair, because I was not strong enough to walk on my own. And then well, 5 days of his life I spent with him as much as I could. I also needed some sleep. I was not preparing for the worst, I was preparing for the best. I was hopeful for a few days. I was looking into home care already. I was looking into the Ronald McDonald House that you may have heard of, where families can stay when one of them is in care in the hospital. And well, it's been a roller coaster ride of emotions, of um, I've been already like in contact with the spiritual world, so I wanted to send him a lot of positive energy. I wanted to manifest um, that everything will be all right. And all the time I was with him, I was talking to him, I was reading him books like Alice in Wonderland. Ironically, I was also reading him The Little Prince, which in Germany is connected with losing a baby. And I did not even know before how connected it is with that. But I was reading that to him. And yeah, it's been a really, really tough time, of course. It's been a really, really emotional time, a roller coaster between being happy to have him there and being worried about what would happen. And I think at the beginning, like the worst thing I was thinking was, oh no, I did not have my um, supernatural birth, and he did not get my natural bacteria from giving natural birth. And well, actually, like really unrealistic thoughts. But I refused to see um, anything else. But day by day I had to, though, because we had complications that happened day by day. And other organ refused, another of his organs refused to work, or he had blood in his water in his brain, and you could see that there's a huge brain damage that um, uh, was valid for as well physical as mental development. And well, the doctors told us that we need to make sure we need to make a decision about him, and if we want him to keep if we want to keep him on life support and put him for more suffering, or we wanted to turn off the life support and let him go. So me and my partner like argued about that, and I think I want to go further in that topic, but I feel like it's already pretty long. My partner and I, we argued about that, and he had the point that he did not want the suffering for our son. And I was a little bit more selfish, I think, at the beginning, and was thinking, oh, and I don't want selfish, selfless. No, I don't want to put a label on it. I, at the beginning, just thought, like, I don't want him to die. And I know that I can manage. Like, I am strong. I'm okay to have a baby that is disabled. I'm okay to care for him for as long as I can. And I don't know. And I was also like, maybe it's not that bad. Like maybe it's just a slightly mental disabled thing. And my partner was arguing like even that, and he's gonna be bullied in school. And I was like, well, we're gonna. It's been a lot of discussion, and I think we went to bed that night. That was the first night that he was allowed to stay in the hospital, because we spent long days there. He was on sick leave anyways from work, and yeah, he just like came early in the morning and left late at night. So for some certain cases, the doctor allowed to have someone else there, so we got a room. It was actually just a single room where they put a second bed, and we were really grateful though. So we kind of decided to go to sleep even without making a decision. And I I'm not sure if we slept, but not much later the doctors came, or one doctor came and said like, okay, you have to come now and you have to make your decision now. And so there was another complication. There was another thing. I think it was like his stomach had developed holes, and they would need to do another surgery with a high percentage of Simon dying. And yeah, they wanted us to know, like, should we do this with the high percentage of him dying, or do you want to turn off the life support and he will die in your arms? He will die with you here. He will die without going through that. And in that moment, I thought, he made the decision for us. This was his way of showing us that he was done with his visit here, and he had played his role, and it's his time to go. And yeah, we made that decision, and the doctors turned off the life support. We were sitting like in that tiny little room where he had his incubator. They put a chair in there that wasn't there before, and he was getting morphium. Is that the right English pronunciation? I'm not sure. So he was getting morphium to through like this little thingy in his nose, I think. And I put him on my naked chest, and there he was taking his last breaths while my partner was sitting next to me with the arm around me. I remember telling him off for crying because I said that we wanted to spend those last moments with Simon, sending him good vibes, good energy, not sending him all those suffering feelings. I wanted to send him strong feelings of love. Even if the grief is love, I wanted to send him that. And yes, yes. As we are on 50 minutes, I want to say that this is the end of my story. It is not. There's so much more to come. All the grieving, all the anger, all the healing, all the triggering comments, all the triggering things to do, the funeral, all the support, all the changes and the transformation. It's all there, and I want to share with you. And right now, I am exhausted. So I will stop sharing